Right, for this task, what we're going to do is create a range of tones from dark to light. We're going to use different pressures with our pencil in order to create different tones, pressing hard for a dark tone and pressing very lightly for a light tone. At the same time as focusing on different tones, we're going to focus on what good shading actually looks like. So I'm going to show you a bad example of shading. So the reason this is a bad example of shading is because it's not very controlled. The shading lines are going in lots of different directions. We've got white gaps and we've also went out with the box. A good example of nice, neat, controlled shading would be where your lines are flowing in the same direction. They're really nice and placed closely together. I'm just doing a small bit at a time. I'm not trying to do too much. I have no white gaps in between my shading where it looks a little bit messy. My lines are so close that there's no white gaps. I'm staying inside the box. And I'm overlapping to make sure that it's nice and smooth, again with no white gaps. When you do come near the edge, you can slow right down. Where possible, we don't want to change direction. But when you do come near that edge, what you might have to do, and this is the only time we would do it, we might have to use a horizontal line, but then go over the top vertically. My rule is when you're shading a shape, you follow the outside edge. Now, because it's got 4 edges, this box, I'm going to follow the longest line. So if I was shading this box here, I would go horizontal because that's the longest line of the shape. So again, I'm just trying my best not to go outside the shape, nice and controlled. And then I'm just going to neaten it up. Right, and there's my dark tone created. It does look a little bit metallic-y on the camera, and that's because the material inside the pencil is called lead. Now I'm going to do the next one, but I'm going to reduce my pressure. Exactly the same, nice and controlled, a small bit at a time, no white gaps. But it's a little bit lighter in tone. And we do exactly the same as we're moving along, but just reducing pressure. Nice and neat, just like that. Next box, reduce more pressure so it becomes lighter. If you feel like it looks similar to the last tone that you've just created, that's when you might have to go a little bit darker on that box or a little bit lighter on this box, but they do have to look different. We want to be creating different tones, different shades, so that our work looks 3D and realistic. And then for this last tone here, we want it to be so light, and sometimes it is quite difficult with your pencil to get it really light. You might have even struggled on this one here. So all I'm going to do, just on my dark shade, using my finger, I'm going to pick up just a little bit of tone, just very carefully, not too much, it should be barely visible. I'm just going to put a nice light tone just in that bottom corner. And there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shades.